Hey everyone. Okay, so this week I want to talk about, now this is actually something that you could do at any time of the year. In fact, you should probably do this at any point when you start to feel overwhelmed, right? If you start to feel, one thing is overwhelmed, but also chaotic and hectic, like mentally, like you're like, there's so much stuff to do, oh my God, and I've got to get this thing done, and all these people want these things from me, and if you get to that point, do this as well, okay? So this is relevant no matter the time of the year. However, I am sending you this message now, close to, or we're heading towards the end of the calendar year. And so what I want to talk about is the need to understand exactly where you're at. Now, this is actually a lot of business owners get to at the end of a calendar year. We're heading to this time frame that we all have kind of decided is a cutoff, okay? It doesn't have to be, but we have decided that the end of the year is when we want to get stuff done by. We should have done this by the end of this calendar year, right? We should have done this. We wanted to do this by this end of this calendar year. So we've given ourselves this deadline, okay? It's a societal deadline. Don't worry, it's not just you. Society gave us this deadline. And the problem is we get to a point where we're running so hard to reach that deadline that we don't stop and look at ourselves and take care of ourselves sometimes, but don't stop and look at what actually is reality. And what we do is we teeter on burnout at this time of year. Some of us fall into burnout and, we get the little signal from our body saying, hey, you know what? I'm not feeling great right now. You're pushing yourself too hard. I'm going to give you a little sniffle, or you're going to make a mistake and maybe hurt yourself. It's not always like really obvious, but it's a little tap just going, can you slow down a little bit, right? And then you don't. And then you get hit with a brick, right? And then sometimes you let it get to the truck. And so I want you to make sure that we stop and listen to the signs from our body and then work with it. Okay, so in my last video, I talked about getting ready for the end of the year, but working with what we've got. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is I want you to stop and think about where are you actually at. Listen in, check in with yourself mentally and physically. Where are you at? Right? Do you feel good? Are you physically on top of the world? Are you mentally on top of the world? Do you feel dejected because you just don't know if you're going to get everything done by the end of the year? Do you feel hectic because you're like, I can't even keep up with life right now? The kids have so much on. There's so much going on in the business. Christmas is approaching. New Year's is approaching. And I just don't know if I'm going to get there. How are you feeling? Check in with yourself. And I want you to truly check in and listen to your gut, listen to your heart, because your head will go, don't worry, just power through, right? Don't listen to that guy. I want you to listen to your gut and your heart, because they will tell you actually what's going on. Okay? So take a minute to check in, right? What's reality? Okay? How are you actually feeling? If you keep going this way, you might be able to do it. But is there a huge risk that you're going to ruin your holiday because all you're going to want to do is sleep? Or you push through the holiday as well because you're having an adventurous holiday with the family, and then you fall apart after the holiday because you need the holiday from the holiday, right? Is that where you're headed? Is that what it feels like? Are you petrified? Are you worried that you're going to let people down? You're not going to achieve your goal. You're not going to get the thing done by the end of the year. Is that all the stuff that's going through your mind? Are you feeling guilty about where you're at and the possibility of not getting it done? Are you feeling burdened by everything that needs to be done? What is your reality right now? Truly check in with yourself. And then when you realize exactly what's going on for you, oh my God, I'm on the edge of burnout. I'm just praying to get to Christmas. I'm just praying to get to the break at the end of the year. And I'm just going full steam ahead. I haven't even stopped to think about whether I'm going to fall apart at that time of year because I just need to get there, and then I'll think about it when I get there. If that's the sort of thing that you're thinking, I want you to accept that first. Just go, okay, I've realized that now. I accept that that's where I am. Okay, I accept that I am in this place. But the thing I want you to then do is free yourself of the burden and the guilt of all that stuff. Let it go. Accept that you're in this place, and now we need to do something about it. Okay, you can make a choice. You can decide yep, I accept it. I'm here. I'm still going to go full steam ahead. I am just going to let myself fall apart. Okay. Or I'm going to accept whatever the consequences are in the future. Okay. You can do that. And people do that all the time. They're like, I just need to hustle, hustle, hustle for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Some people are hustling for 10 years, right? And then I'll be free, and then I'll have some time after that. Yeah. Okay. You know, when you get the time, when you get the cancer or you have the heart attack, that's when you get the time to stop, because you're forced to. That's the truck, right? We don't want to get there. So I want you to accept that this is where you are. Okay. And now we're going to replan. Okay. We're going to replan what we're going to do to get to this end of the year. Okay. Or to the goal, or to the end of the quarter, whatever it happens to be. Whenever you're listening to this video or this audio, whatever it is that you're working towards, we're going to replan, okay? And the beauty of the world is that we're all humans, and we can have human conversations, and other people can help us, and we can talk to them about changing deadlines and moving things or reducing scope and all of those different things, okay? Some people aren't as supportive, I get that. But generally we can support each other and get creative about how we can make things work for everybody, okay? So you put your little solution hat on, or you go into an office and speak to someone and go, I'm struggling right now. Can we both put our solution hats on and work together on how this is going to happen? Or as a team, whatever it needs to be. Could be as a team. By sitting there on your own in a lack of acceptance and trying to just struggle through, you're never going to win. You're not the winner in that situation. Nobody's the winner. Whereas if you empower other people to be involved and to help, you're all winners in the end. Okay? There's always another way. Always another way. There's always a plan B, C, D, Z. Okay? But you need to accept where you are, and we're going to replan. Now, for you, what you're going to do, depending on where you're at, and you check in what your reality is, we're going to ruthlessly and selfishly replan. Okay? When I talk about ruthless, I'm like, not doing that at all. Move that to February. Give that to someone else. Don't really care about that. Tell them I can't do it. Scrap it off the list completely. Move the date. Do half of it instead. Change the whole plan. Whatever it has to be. Ruthlessly and selfishly replan and readjust your life. The things that you need to achieve, the things that you need to do, the way that you're going to be every day, so that you are looking after you, okay? Because honestly, you can hustle to the end of the year or to the end of the quarter or whatever your target goal is. Sure, you can do that. How are you going to feel? The problem is, right, you'll hit the goal or you hit the target or you'll get there and you won't feel like celebrating. You'll feel terrible. And then the next goal will come. So if you don't do this on an ongoing basis, if you don't do this check-in and replan on an ongoing basis, what happens is you miss your goals. You miss the success. You miss enjoying the success. You move straight through onto the next thing, and you didn't even notice that you actually hit the goal in the first place, right? Because you have this modus operandi of just pushing through relentlessly, okay? And so that in the long term, it's just not healthy or a way to cultivate a happy, joyous life, basically. Like that's no fun. I want to feel fun and joy every single day. And the way that I do that is I make sure that I don't feel guilt and burden from the things that I have to do as often as possible. Right? I don't want to go to bed every night thinking about all the stuff that I should have done, have to do, need to do, people are waiting for. I don't want that. So I need to strategically find solutions on a regular basis to make sure that I'm not in that place. And when I get there, I need to ruthlessly and selfishly replan and readjust so that I'm no longer there. And you need to do that too. Well, you should do that too. Ultimately, it's a choice, right? But I encourage you to do that too, because then you just wake up in the morning and go, hey, I feel good, right? When I'm tired and cranky and overwhelmed and overworked and not checking in with myself, you know what happens? I'm a cranky cow. The kids cop it. Everyone cops it. I don't do my best work. The kid's like, you're mean. I'm like, yeah, I am being mean. Or like, Jesus, swearing a lot, Mum, because my tolerance level is reduced. Okay, so anytime that I know that my tolerance level is reduced, what do I need to be doing? I need to stop. right? And this week, I'm going to admit, this week, that's me. That is me. I'm not just telling you this as something that should be done. I'm telling you this as something that I do, okay? This week, for a variety of reasons, like a lot of things bank up to get to this point, right? It's never just one thing. They compound, and then you get to this point of intolerance and overwhelm, okay? And then you explode and lose it, or, you just become the less tolerant person and everyone annoys you and irritates you, okay? And so yesterday, I was like, I have a mountain of work to be done, and I did my daily plan as I always do, and I'd done everything that, written out everything I need to do, but I'm like, I need to change that. I need to stop and mentally stop. And so giving myself permission to stop was huge. It's like a switch gets flicked in your brain. Yeah? I've given myself permission to stop. Oh, thanks, Louise, for giving yourself permission for that. And literally all I did was I grabbed a croissant, I grabbed a chai, and I just kind of ate it and, kind of did a few things around the house that needed to be done. Just like really, nothing thought-provoking, nothing strategic, just gave myself a few minutes, but with no intention, right? So it was time with no intention. And I know I talk about intentional time use all the time, but sometimes it's stop with the intention to just stop. That's the intention of the time, okay? Not to fulfill anything, not to achieve anything other than stopping, okay? And that's what I did yesterday morning. And yep, that meant that I had to move what I was going to do in the morning to another day, but it was worth it. Totally worth it. I can tell you the shift in my energy and my tolerance levels was huge. Just that little thing. Okay. And then also saying to myself, okay, I need to do this again later in this week, and I am going to see if I can work towards creating a bigger time slot. And so I've done that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take half a day on Friday, finish my Christmas shopping, So it's about telling your brain that you've given it permission to stop and that something needs to change, that things need to be different, and just listening to yourself and going, what needs to be different? Okay. So once you do that, you then need to create a new acceptance of this is the place that I'm at. Okay. Those things aren't going to get done. I've replanned them. I've moved them. We've communicated that. We've done all the things. All of that's happening. Okay, I've readjusted. I now have a new acceptance of this is where I'm at and that's what I'm going to achieve, and that I'm going to look after myself and I'm going to feel good every day. Okay, that's the new acceptance. And so it's like you can't explain it until you do it, but it's emancipating. And it's about you taking back control, because when you're in that state of chaos and, oh my God, I've just got to get to this point or reach the goal or whatever it is, it's almost like you're taking the control away from yourself a little bit. Okay, it's like almost like you don't have the control anymore. That goal or that time or that point in time has taken the control away from you. Okay, and so what you do by accepting the situation, readjusting, replanning, and creating the days that you want, that you love, and to be the joyous person that you normally are, you're taking back control. And control feels good, right? Control is freeing, okay? But to create the control, you have to plan it and readjust it and communicate. Those are the things, like those things that you don't want to do that seem like monotonous and boring and tedious. Those are the things that give you the control. So I want you to check in. Where are you at? Really check in. What's your reality? Accept that that's the reality. Okay, that's my reality. And then decide, I want you to, like I know not all of you will, but decide to do something about it. Okay? I want you to free yourself of the burden and the guilt of where you're at. Accept it. Replan ruthlessly and selfishly. Readjust. Communicate with people. Don't do stuff. Move it out. Whatever needs to happen. And then create a new acceptance of this place. Right? It's freeing. Take back the control with a little bit of clarity and certainty. And then be happy. right? Get to the goal and enjoy it, celebrate it, get there, have a great time, because you'll have the energy to do that. Because you looked after yourself. Because if you don't, then you'll either move through it with caffeine to support you to get through it, or you'll just fall apart when you get there. Okay, so get there with energy and joy and celebrate it. Okay, so good luck. Let me know how you go. Looking forward to hearing how free you feel.